You know that feeling, right? You log in, launcher's downloading something huge, and you're just thinking, okay, what broke? Or what got added?
Oh, absolutely. It's like feeling the ground shake under your feet in the game world. Then boom, catch notes. A huge wall or text.
Right, and you're trying to scan it. Like, what's the important bit? What do I actually need to pay attention to?
Exactly. And that's what we're going to do here. We're diving into that wall of text for the May 22nd, 2025 Black Desert update.
Using the official patch notes as our guide, naturally.
Yeah.
The source of truth for all the fixes, the tweaks, the new shiny things.
It's a big one, this patch. 1.94 gigabytes came down on May 22nd, 2025.
Though I did notice one of the event dates mentioned, 2538. Bit of typo, maybe? Or, time travel.
Huh. Yeah, maybe a little temporal flux thrown in for fun. But typos aside, our real job here is to pull out the stuff that really matters, explain what it means for you playing the game.
And maybe point out a few surprising things hidden in there.
Definitely. So let's start high level. 1.94 gigs is, well, it's not small.
No, definitely not.
And the notes kind of break it down. You've got activities, that's like events. Then additional content and improvements, that's usually where the big new stuff or system changes are.
And they just general improvements and fixes, the polish.
Exactly. So it covers everything, really. Character skills, how you interact with the world map, the economy, life skills.
Even the big PvP stuff, node wars, conquest wars.
Yeah, it's a really broad update, touching a lot of different systems.
Okay, let's dive into something huge. Affects pretty much everyone who does more than just grind mobs. Contribution points.
CP. Yeah, super important. You need it for connecting nodes, buying houses, workshops, everything map-related, basically.
And the headline news here is a big cut in how much CP you need. For nodes and for houses.
It's massive. The devs actually said they want to reduce the burden, especially thinking about places like Sylvia, Dragon, the ones that cost a ton of points.
Right. Those always felt like such a huge investment.
Yeah, and they want people to have more flexibility, more points, freed up to use, wherever they want.
So how big are these reductions we're talking about?
Well, for residences, they've put a hard cap on it, maximum of 5 CP, period.
Just 5. Wow.
Yeah. Like, looking at the examples, a house in Grana that used to be 8 points, now it's 5. Even some in Velia went from 5 down to 3.
And this isn't just like 1 or 2 regions.
No, it's huge. Belenos, Serendia, Calphion, Medaya, Valencia, Sylvia, Dragon, Odilita, Mountain of Eternal Winter. It's pretty much the whole map.
That's going to free up a lot of CP for players.
It really is. And the best part, any points you had tied up in those nodes or houses that are now cheaper, they automatically refunded when you log in after the patch.
Oh, nice. So instant CP back in your pool to use.
Exactly. Potentially a big chunk of points back for everyone.
And conveniently, with all those points coming back, the update also adds new places to spend them, new production nodes.
It does, yeah. More places to send your workers for gathering resources. They've added several in the Ulukita area.
Ulukita, right. What kind of stuff can you get there?
Things like Monk's Branch, Acacia Wood, Iron Ore, Trace of Nature, core crafting materials.
Stuff people always need, yeah.
And it's not just Ulukita. They also added some nodes near Keplen Village offering things like firwood and zinc ore.
Okay, more options. And I guess you need someone to manage workers there. News supervisors.
Correct. There's Kabelm in Esparkin and Gemir in Muskar. And a nice little touch, you can actually find them easily now using the NPC search function in-game.
Oh, that's handy. Saves running around.
Definitely. And logically, they've also added or expanded housing and storage in Asperkin and Muskar. Got to have somewhere for those workers to live and drop off goods.
Makes sense. Any other worker improvements?
Just a small quality of life thing. When you're spamming the contract worker button at the supervisor, the display updates faster now. Less lag, basically.
Ah, good. Every little bit helps.
Yeah.
All right, let's shift from the world map stuff to life skills. Fishing and training got some interesting updates.
Let's start with fishing. You know how fish value drops over time? Especially if you auto-fish overnight.
Yeah, that price guarantee timer. Always a race to sell.
Well, they've basically doubled it.
Yeah.
Globally. The guarantee period went from 24 hours up to 48 hours.
48. Wow. Okay. 2 whole days to sell your fish without the price tanking.
Exactly. Huge flexibility boost. And it's even better for fish from Odilita. Theirs went from 36 hours up to 60.
60 hours. Okay.
Cool.
Any exceptions?
Just one noted. Fish from the Mountain of Eternal Winter region, they keep their original guarantee time. Everything else gets the boost.
And this works on fish you already have.
Yep, applies to fish already in your inventory or even in your fish tanks. And it covers, all the main types: general, high grade, rare, treasure fish. Pretty much everything.
Okay, and there's a little note about fruit of abundance?
Yeah, just a little teaser. Says it's in final preparation. No idea what it is yet, but sounds fruitful. Something to watch out for.
Intriguing. Okay, what about training? Catching wild horses.
The goal here, they said, was making it more fun, more profitable, maybe more exciting.
How are they doing that?
A couple of key ways. First, the levels of wild horses you can catch. The range used to be 1 to 10, now it's 1 to 20.
Oh, higher potential starting level. Save some training time.
Exactly. And the big one, tiers. You used to only find Tier 6 and Tier 7 wild horses.
Right.
Now, you can find Tier 6, Tier 7, and Tier 8.
Wait, wild tier 8s? Are you serious?
Dead serious. Wild T8s are now catchable out in the world.
That completely changes the horse training game. That's huge.
It really is, but hold on, it gets wilder. The appearance rate for Tier 7 wild horses, they say it's increased by approximately 133 times.
133 times.
Yep, not a typo. 133x increase in T7 spawns, specifically mentioned for areas like Dragon, but they say the change applies everywhere.
My God. So finding T7s is now just common, and T8s are possible. Trainers would be losing their minds.
It's a massive buff to horse catching, no doubt. And they added 2 new rare wild horse types, too.
Oh, what's special about them?
There's a male type that levels slower, but if you sell it, it fetches like 5 times the normal price.
Okay, a money horse.
And there's a female type that can be bred 4 times instead of the usual 2 or 3.
Ah, better breeding potential. So, different targets depending on what you want.
Exactly. More variety, more potential value. Oh, and one more thing for horse management, remote stable collection.
Yeah.
You can now pull up to 20 horses remotely at once, even if your destination stable is full.
Oh, that's convenient. So you don't have to do it one by one if you're grabbing a bunch.
Right. You still need the space eventually when they arrive, but retrieving them is way smoother.
Okay, switching from peaceful horse catching to the opposite. Large-scale combat, PvP, node wars, conquest wars. What's changed?
Well, first, a specific class skill. The Dasa class gets a new skill called Dawn Mist.
Okay, how do you get it?
You need to have finished the Magnus main quest line and then do a specific quest from the Black Spirit.
And if you've already done Magnus?
Then you just talk to the Black Spirit, and assuming you meet the conditions, you should get the quest for the skill right away.
Gotcha. Were there broader class changes too?
Yeah, under the All Classes section, it's that ongoing balancing act. Several skills labeled strong had their damage numbers tweaked. Some went up, but crucially, they also adjusted the PvP damage reduction rates on some.
Ah, so how much damage they do specifically against other players?
Exactly. It shows they're constantly fine-tuning that player versus player balance.
Makes sense. Now, the big stuff. Node war and conquest war mechanics.
Right. The main goals mentioned were making siege weapon rolls clearer and improving certain units like the Caderia Elephant.
So what's happening with cannons and ballistas?
Cannons got some pretty hefty damage boosts against structures. We're talking like 30%, even 60% more damage versus things like fences, gates, and siege towers.
Okay, more impactful. Ballistas.
Ballistas, too. Big damage increase against castle gates, like 100% more and 50% more against fences. They also fixed a bug where player-made cannons weren't doing the right bonus damage to friendly structures.
What about the things getting shot at? Siege towers? Flame towers?
Siege towers had their durability and defense adjusted based on the war tier. Level 1 is different from Level 2 or Unlimited. And flame towers, in those unlimited or construction node wars, now apply a stacking debuff when they hit someone.
A debuff. What does it do?
It reduces damage reduction by 25 and evasion rate by 7.5% for 15 seconds, and it stacks.
Whoa, stacking debuffs from flame towers. That could melt defenses if they focus fire.
Could be a really big deal for breaking pushes, yeah.
And the elephant. You said they tweaked the Caderia Elephant.
They did. They tried to improve its movement, make it look less janky, basically, though the notes admit it might feel less directly controlled by the rider now.
Okay. What about its damage?
They increase the damage for skills that have that fixed damage component, especially against high DR targets. But it's still affected by the target's overall damage reduction rate, so it's not bypassing defenses entirely. They also adjusted skill ranges and timings.
Anything else on elephants?
Oh yeah, important note. The HP for the elephants used in the specific Rose War content was cut by about a third.
Ouch. Okay. And changing tack, what about the end of a fight? The question mark fortresses.
Yeah, the special objective in Conquest Wars, they made a small but interesting change. The randomization for when the war actually ends. It used to be randomized by the minute.
Right.
Yeah, now it's randomized down to the second.
Oh, so you really have to fight tooth and nail right up until the very last moment. No coasting in the last minute.
Exactly. Keep that pressure on till the absolute end.
Clever.
Mm.
Any love for the war reporters watching all this chaos?
A little bit, yeah. Their hawk view, the camera they use, can go higher and see further now.
Better view of the battlefield.
And a neat little tool for them. They can change the color of guild or alliance names, but only they see the change. Helps them track specific groups in the chaos.
Oh, that's smart. Like highlighting teams just for their own view.
Right. Need to be in a guild, have the reporter title, and a war needs to be active, but yeah, useful for them.
Okay, super important topic for anyone involved in these wars. Rewards. Node War rewards got updated.
Massively updated. This looks like a major push to get more people participating. Both participation rewards and victory rewards have been adjusted, and generally, they've gone up.
Okay, how so? What kind of increases?
Well, looking across the different war tiers and regions,
Yeah.
Media Valencia, Calphion Silvia, Bilina Serendia, the amount of gold bars, the various types of enhancing water, scrolls, and the special coins you get, they've mostly increased.
More guaranteed currency and mats. What about the loot boxes? The random drops?
That's where it gets really spicy. The prisoners boxes you get for winning are now different depending on the region you won in Fighter's Box, Determination Box, Spirited Determination Box.
And what's in them now?
This is the big news. The patch notes list potential contents, and it includes things like
Deverick accessory.
Dibarikas? Like the necklace, earrings, ring, belt, the super high-end stuff.
That's what the notes say. Potential drops from winning node wars. Also things like spirit stone fragments, immortal oil, other valuable crafting materials. Holy cow. Getting a Debreka from a node war box, that is a massive incentive boost. That could really change why guilds fight certain nodes.
Absolutely. It adds a huge potential jackpot to winning. And then remember, they also buffed the basic participation rewards, too, across different levels. It really feels like they want Node Wars to be a much more rewarding activity overall.
Okay, moving away from the battlefield now.
Yeah.
There were also some system-level changes and, of course, a bunch of bug fixes.
Right. One important system change is specifically for season servers. They've added a character level cap.
A level cap on season. What is it?
Level 63 at 99% experience.
Okay. And just season servers. Doesn't affect regular servers or graduated characters?
Correct. Only active season characters on season servers. The idea, they say, is to keep season servers focused on their main purpose, which is faster progression up to a certain point.
And related to that.
They also removed the life EXP plus 30% buff that used to be active on season servers.
Got it. Makes sense if they're focusing the leveling aspect.
Yeah.
Any other cool system tweaks?
Yeah, a really nice quality of life one for groups. It's about the compass.
The item that shows your location in the desert and ocean.
Right. Now, if you have a compass active, your location will actually show up on the map for your guild members, party members, and platoon members, even if they don't have a compass themselves.
Oh, that's fantastic. So one person with a compass can guide the whole group in those zones.
Exactly. Much easier navigation for groups in the tricky areas.
Nice. Anything else on the system side? Localization.
Yeah, they mentioned improvements to tile localization, specifically working on making item names and location names more consistent. He gave examples like standardizing different versions of Jordine's casual wear or Western Guard Camp into single consistent tie terms.
Good to see ongoing localization efforts. And finally, the bugs.
Always a long list with big patches. They fill out a ton of stuff. Map glitches like getting stuck in terrain, visual bugs on outfits or character models.
That's problems.
Yep. Quests not progressing correctly, UI elements misbehaving, system errors like item enhancement showing weird numbers sometimes, or characters getting stuck somewhere they shouldn't. The usual
I
suspects.
saw one related to fishing again.
Yeah, a specific one. If you were using certain Carrick ship crew members, there was a bug preventing you from catching multiple items at once while auto-fishing. That's fixed now.
Okay.
Oh, and they also mentioned fixing some HPMP display discrepancies for certain characters. Affected players will apparently get details via in-game mail.
All right, so let's wrap up this deep dive. We've gone through a lot from this May 22nd update. Some really core changes.
Yeah, definitely. The big CP cost reductions are huge, freeing up points for everyone. That's probably the most universal change.
So followed maybe by the new production nodes, giving you places to spend those points, or the life skill boosts that much longer fish value guarantee is great.
And that absolutely massive change to wild horses, tier 8s in the wild, and the huge increase in T7s, that's going to reshape horse training.
For sure. Then you have the whole suite of Node War and Conquest War updates.
Yeah.
Stronger Siege, the Flame Tower debuff, the Elephant tweaks.
The last-second tension on the fortress, and of course those massively buffed rewards. The chance at Debrecas from Node War boxes is just wow.
Yeah, that's a headline right there. Plus all the system refinements like the compass sharing and the bug squashing. It feels like this patch really aimed to smooth out progression, spice up life skills, and seriously incentivize large-scale PvP.
Definitely cuts through the noise of the patch notes to see those key themes emerge.
Absolutely. And it leaves us and you with some interesting stuff to think about as you jump back into the game.
Like, how will guilds react to these CP changes and the new reward structure? Will node ownership strategies shift dramatically? And is the training market about to be flooded with high-tier horses? Or will those rare types command huge prices?
It may be the biggest question for some. Just how rare are those Deboreka drops from the Node War boxes going to be in practice? That's something for you to discover out there in the world.